for the delay. We had to work through some technical issues, but thank you for joining us on a snowy, cold morning. About half of the state is under snow, and so we really appreciate everybody's attendance in today's webinar. We had a record number of sign-ups for the webinar. We have 191 people sign up for this, which is a tribute to the need for this kind of product development infrastructure grant. So thank you for your interest. I want to add that there may be some people who weren't able to attend, and we are going to record this webinar. We're going to upload it to our industry website, which is nmtourism.org. The resources tab, division presentation. So this will be available for those who are unable to participate, so fear not. You can review it anytime, but for those of you who are able to get on, thank you very much for your attendance. I'm David Griscom. I'm the Division Director for Tourism Development, and I'm here with Susie Lawrence. We're going to give you the webinar today. This webinar is for the Tourism Development Grant, and we'll go through the webinar and we'll take questions later, and we'll give you the cell phone number to text your question to in just a minute. What we're going to cover in this webinar will be essentially an outline of the Tourism Development Division. We're going to go over the grant guidelines. We're going to go over how to ensure your project is competitive, and I want to just highlight that we have a unique process in this grant, and Susie is going to go into some detail about it, but it's essentially a pre-filter whereby you can send us your proposal. We will review it. We will work with you to see if it's a fit. If it isn't a fit, we'll give you suggestions as to what would make it a fit. And we're calling this a think sheet. Susie is going to go into more detail about that. We're going to go into an overview of tangible tourism. Many of you know what this is, experiential tourism. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll go into an in-depth look at the application process itself. So as I mentioned, we're going to take questions at the end of the webinar, and you should see my cell phone there. The phone number is 505-690-8160. So feel free to text me your questions, and we will address them at the end of our presentation. I also want to point out that on the slides you'll see some red text in handwriting. Those are little kind of takeaway thoughts and notes for you. Okay. A little bit on the department and our mission. Our mission is to be the primary destination for the venturesome traveler, and we do this in part, we accomplish this in part through our New Mexico True brand campaign. Many of you have adopted the New Mexico True brand, so you understand what that is. We've had tremendous success with this campaign thus far, and I just wanted to highlight a few numbers from our 2015 annual report. Visitation reached 34 million travelers, which is an increase of nearly 700,000. Direct visitor spending in New Mexico reached $6.3 billion, and this spending generated $8.8 billion in total business sales. There's more than 90,400 people employed within New Mexico in the industry, and 8.3% of all jobs in the state are sustained by visitor spending. Tourism in New Mexico generated $629 million in state and local taxes in 2015. The visitor spending in New Mexico increased 3.6%, reaching $6.3 billion in 2015. So these are just a little bit of kind of indicators and metrics that we use to ensure that the New Mexico True brand is on track and that we're having success with it. So a little bit about the tourism division. This is a new division within the tourism department, and the primary focus of this division is to work with entities around the state, whether they're tribal, nonprofit, county, municipality, to help them develop new tourism product or to help them enhance their existing tourism product. We also want to ensure that visitors have the highest quality information available to them at our visitor information centers, and ensure that New Mexico landscapes are clean and litter-free by providing beautification guidance, support, and program management. One of our goals is maximizing in-state pride, and we do that in part through our Clean and Beautiful initiative, which is part of the Tourism Development Division. I want to just emphasize that the department as a whole has 3 grant programs. Today we're going to talk about the Tourism Development Grant, but we also have the Co-op Grant, which many of you have participated in, and we also have the Clean and Beautiful Grant, which is a beautification slash recycling grant that we offer, and we'll be having a grant writing workshop probably this spring for those interested in a beautification grant. So that's a little bit about the Tourism Development Division. I'm going to now turn it over to Susie to go into some of the specifics to the grant. Again, remember, you can text my cell phone at 505-690-8160 with your questions, and we'll get to those at the end.
Hi everyone, thank you David for that introduction. Now we're going to move into the actual meat of the grant. The grant guidelines are available at our industry site, nmtourism.org. I encourage you all to go take a minute and review those guidelines, and within the first few paragraphs, what I'm finding is many people are having a much stronger understanding of what we're trying to do. This first slide here, we're going to present an overview of the guidelines as they are published on the website. So what we have done is we have allocated funding for investment in the creation or expansion of tourism products that align with the New Mexico TRU brand's promise to deliver adventure steeped in culture. And the purpose of this program is to provide financial assistance in the development of newer expanded tourism initiatives that will lead to increased economic impact in New Mexico. Now this is important. Any New Mexico county, municipality, tribal government, or IRS designated nonprofit is eligible. So those are eligibility requirements there. Now if you are in the private sector, we do not want you to lose interest in this grant. We encourage partnerships. It's actually something that we're really going to be pushing for. So if you are in the private sector and you do have some awesome tourism initiatives that you're trying to get funded, please keep in mind that that can still happen just through maybe friends of your organizations that would be deemed eligible. Eligible entities may apply for funding between $10,000 and $50,000. This will be a matching grant, and we'll go into those details on the next slide. Now, as you're evaluating your project, what we're really going to be looking for is ensuring that projects are visitor-centered, that they are sustainable, that these projects are going to be around for 3, 5, 10 years, that they're aligned with the New Mexico TRU brand promise, and key point here, able to be completed by June 1, 2017. We'll go into how you may restructure your project into various scopes of work to still apply, simply ensuring that your phase 1 scope of work that you're applying for funding for is completed by June 1, 2017. Preference will be given to projects incorporating elements of tangible tourism. That's a word or a phrase that we've been hearing a lot lately, and we'll go into detail later in the presentation as to why that is so relevant to our industry. We also encourage your project to be focused in one or more of the following areas. These are areas that our campaign is focused in: arts and culture, cultural heritage, cuisine, and outdoor recreation. Preference will also be given to projects able to demonstrate the ability to leverage multiple funding sources. So there we go back into that idea of partnerships and really engaging your communities. Matching requirements and timeline. So this is a one-to-one match, similar to any grant that we have offered here. Matching contributions may come from private sector partners, and they must be in cash. In-kind donations or volunteer hours are not eligible. And again, just highlighting that note there, all funds expended by June 1. Proposals will be accepted on a rolling timeline, so this is something a little different. So starting January 12th, you can begin applying for these funds, and you can apply all the way through May 1. Again, just remembering that your funds are expended by June 1. 25% of funding provided up front. This is another different aspect to this grant. You will be required to provide your phase 1 scope of work. This will be broken up into 4 scopes. So long as you are proving that the planning is in place, your subcontractors have been, you've received those quotes, you've completed your budget outline, 25% of funding will be provided up front, and I know that that will be very helpful for a lot of these projects. 75% of funding will be granted as reimbursement upon the project's completion. Again, that June 1 date. And now we're going to go into how you can still apply for these funds even if your project is long-term. What we will require is a very detailed, very frank beginning and end scope of work that will be connected to these agreements. We are requiring that the funds are expended and that scope of work is completed by June 1. For example, if you're trying to do a bike trail or something, very simplistic example, perhaps the bike trail is phase 1 and the signage for that trail is phase 2. Again, a very simple example, but just kind of letting you know that, we understand the constraints of this timeline and we are going to try to work with you to ensure your project is as successful as it can be. So now moving into a discussion of some examples of competitive proposals. Proposals that clearly demonstrate their project's ability to enhance the visitor experience through sustainable product development may be eligible to receive funding. We want projects that are innovative, sustainable, and visitor-centered, and especially highlighting all of the focuses and all of the goals that we have within our department here. I have a few examples of some eligible proposals, but again, we've designed this program whereas you will fill out a worksheet before application. Therefore, we will have lots of discussion, all your questions will be answered, and we're going to make sure that your project is as competitive as possible. A couple examples of what we're looking for is digital infrastructure design and creation, such as digital storyboards aimed at highlighting maybe New Mexico's unique culture. Here we're hitting on a couple things. We've got that cultural focus, and this is also an innovative and forward-thinking idea. Another example that we have would be kind of these shovel-ready organizational expansions, actual infrastructure projects aimed at providing maybe a teaching studio or other tangible tourism experiences. Maybe you have a structure and you're looking to do some interior remodeling for the purpose of providing cooking lessons or something like that to the public. There we have elements of tangible tourism, and we're really staying in line with the goal of the department, focusing on cuisine there. Also cultural trail implementation, such as community walking trails, maybe through strategically chosen locations, whereas you have a lot of local businesses invested in participating and heightening the visitor experience. So then we're focusing again on tangible tourism and outdoor adventure. So there's all kinds of projects that could potentially be eligible. Where you're really going to determine if your project can be competitive is taking a look at ensuring, first of all, you're an eligible organization, that you have community buy-in and you have that support, that your project is visitor-centered, that it's aligned with the New Mexico True brand to deliver adventure steeped in culture, and that you're able to reach completion by June 1. I want to be very clear in that this is not a marketing grant. We have those opportunities within this department, and if you are interested in marketing, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to direct you to the correct resources for that. So now we're just going to do that quick brush up on tangible tourism, a big focus here in the department. We have webinars available for you to dig into, and I just wanted to provide a definition and again highlight why it's such a focus here in the department. multidimensional experience a visitor has when their senses or emotions are engaged in an activity unique to the area they are visiting. So really heightening that experience, experiential tourism, tangible, something you can feel, touch, see, smell, something that essentially, you'll walk away a different person. Why this is so important is that this has a huge emphasis for rate of return. As we all know, New Mexico is seen as a kind of a bucket list trip, and we want people to come back again and again and again. And these tangible tourism, these experiential experiences are really the driving force to ensure that people are returning to our state time and time again. Your head is probably ringing at this moment. Please remember that there is going to be lots of discussion one-on-one as we move on. This grant is designed to set everyone up for success, and there's going to be worksheets and things to do before application. But just a reminder to text your questions to 505-690-8160, and our questions will be answered at the end of the webinar. So in eligible proposals, we've made a point of saying that marketing is not under this grant, but we have a few more examples. And again, just remembering, if your project does not emphasize the ability to increase economic impact, enhance the visitor experience, prove sustainability, you're not in line with the New Mexico True Brand Promise, or cannot be completed by June 1, 2017, your project will not be deemed as eligible. That doesn't mean that it's not worth a discussion, and this grant will be going on, and so if you can't make it this year, let's have those conversations and ensure that you're set up for success during the next cycle. So some examples of ineligible proposals: advertising, marketing expenses, booth spaces and things like that, public relations, media communications, and FAM tours for media events, strategic planning and research. Again, this is we're really moving into the development phases at this point. Promotional items or items for resale, lobbying, any kind of office supplies, educational conferences, any travel expenses, employee or contractor salaries or personnel costs. That doesn't mean that subcontracting is an ineligible expense. It just means that as a subcontractor, you will be paid per your contract, and we are not agreeing to pay any salary or wage beyond that contract. And then food or alcoholic beverages or any other non-approved expenditure, which will be very clearly outlined in scope of work agreement. So preparing for the application, this is a great program that we've set up here, again, really focusing on your success. You've already done 2 of the 4. You've reviewed the grant guidelines. Again, there's that website where you can find that. You're attending the webinar here. The webinar will also be posted, as David mentioned, for you to review, or for anyone else within your community, say a partner that you're trying to really get them involved. They may also review the webinar. There is a think sheet that is available for download, and that think sheet is this kind of prerequisite worksheet that we keep talking about. You're going to want to go to nmtourism.culturegrants.org, and just like all of our grant processes, you will see the download, papers available for download there. And the think sheet will be there, the required budget sheets will be there, and W-9 will be there. The think sheet is what you're going to want to take a look at first, and we'll get into that in the next slide. And then once we get through that, just apply at nmtourism.culturegrants.org by May 1, 2017. The evaluation criteria, again, is very similar to what you've seen before. There will be required supporting documents. We will need letters of support and financial commitments, and cost estimates, just ensuring that we're all doing our due diligence. We understand the labor costs, construction costs, supply costs, contractor costs, and things like that. It'll be as simple as just sending us our quotes, making sure that all of our ducks are in a row, and no one is left at the end of the day thinking, oh my gosh, I undertook something that I could not complete. And a detailed project budget, again, that template is available for you at nmtourism.culturegrants.org. And how the application will work is it's going to consist of 5 narratives. These narratives will already be addressed in that think sheet. You will be more than prepared to answer these in the most competitive way possible. We're going to ask for a project description. We're going to ask for your community or regional support impact and how that played out, project budget and feasibility, ensuring that the project is in alignment with New Mexico Tree Brand Promise, and then measurement and sustainability all adding up to 100%. So here we are at nmculturegrants.org. You'll see the grant document download link there. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. You can go to that website and you can take a look, and we can, kind of filter out and make sure that no one is applying for something that is not going to be deemed competitive. That think sheet, I just wanted to do a quick overview of that. We're just going to confirm your eligibility and have that discussion if you're not eligible, what we can do to help those partnerships happen to make sure you are eligible. And then we're going to go into some narrative questions, again, focusing on these 5 questions here: the description, community and regional support, project budget and feasibility, alignment with the brand, and measurement and sustainability. So questions such as, describe how your project is visitor-centered and will enhance the visitor experience. We're going to ask you to really define your project's target market. We're going to move into questions like, list the entities that you collaborated with to draft your ideas. How is your project unique to New Mexico and aligned with the New Mexico Tree Brand Promise? So what we're doing here is we're asking these questions and we're trying to bring these focuses to the forefront of your mind to make sure all that's been addressed, everything has been fleshed out, the conversations have happened with the department, and you are competitive and ready to apply. So now we're going to go into a summary of what we've covered today and move into the question and answer portion of the webinar. So the purpose of this program is to provide financial assistance in the development of new or expanded tourism initiatives that will lead to increased economic impact in New Mexico. Again, we are not a marketing grant. Preference will be given to projects incorporating elements of tangible tourism. Check out that webinar if you have not, and are focused in one or more of the following areas: arts and artisans, cultural heritage, cuisine, outdoor recreation. Proposals will be accepted on a rolling timeline between January 12th and May 1, and everything needs to be allocated by June 1, 2017. 4 steps for ensuring your application will be deemed eligible and complete is to review the grant guidelines available at our website, attend or view this webinar, download that required think sheet and submit to the grant administrator, that is me, via email. And what I'm going to do is get back with you and we'll flesh out some things and get all of your questions answered before you move on to application by May 1, 2017. So moving in, David is going to be question master here.
Okay, we have had tremendous response to this grant, and again, I want to thank you all. We have way too many questions and we can answer in the remaining time that we have available, but we'll try to get to a few of them. I think what we're going to do is we will answer all of these questions. We will put the questions into writing, and then we will provide answers in writing, and we'll post these questions and answers on our industry website, which is nmtourism.org. But we will get to as many of the questions as we can this morning. But thank you for your interest. Tremendous. Okay, so first question is, must matching funds come from private sector? And I want to remind everyone that it's a one-to-one match, and it has to be a cash match. It does not have to come from the private sector exclusively. It could come from any variety of sources, so long as it's a cash match. Okay? Next question. What is the anticipated timeline and length of application evaluation and response to applicants?
2 weeks. So with the think sheet, that time frame will be less than that. As soon as you submit your think sheet, it'll be about 5 to 7 days to get that back, and you'll be ready for application and receive that turnaround in 2 weeks.
Okay, similar question. Once the grant is submitted, how long will it take for us to be notified that we will receive the grant or not? Next question, is it a first-come, first-served grant and you award as you go?
It is. It's a $350,000 grant, and you may apply for funds $10,000 to $50,000. And we are going to do this rolling timeline and expend the funds until all funds are allocated, or May 1st, whichever comes first.
Can you please explain more about what a sustainable project would be?
What we are really looking for are these projects that are going to have a strong impact within your communities or your region or your area. We want to ensure that our investments are made in such a way that they will leave a lasting impression. Our intention is to increase the quality of life for New Mexicans. We want to have projects that are going to really increase revenue and drive tourism to your area. We are not going to be looking to fund projects that will be around for a year or two. We want to fund projects that will be around for 5, 10, 15 years and will be strong drivers of tourism. And we want you to use this grant this year and next year and the year after that to continue enhancing and improving your tourism product.
Okay, next question. Is this grant able to be applied toward infrastructure, i.e. construction of walking paths, remodel of current buildings to focus on the visitor experience, etc.?
Yes, absolutely. Again, really focusing on that visitor-centered idea and ensuring that your project is in alignment with our goals. Again, those 4 focuses of cuisine, outdoor recreation, art, etc. But absolutely, a tourism product is within itself an infrastructure product in a lot of ways. So those projects will absolutely be eligible, and if you do have a very large project, a very large concept in mind, remember that we will work with you to kind of redigest that scope of work to ensure that you are eligible for this cycle.
Next question is, what about events that occur after June? Will this be offered in FY18, and if so, what dates? So we hope to have this grant available in FY18. We're very confident that we will. This grant is only for projects that will be able to be wrapped up by June 1st. So if you have a project or an event that takes place after that date, look for our grant in FY18. Okay, let's see. My phone is just about blowing up. When will the think sheet be available?
The think sheet is already available, so go back to this site here. It is already up, nmtourism.culturegrants.org. Grant document downloads, click there, and all of the prerequisite and required documents are there for you to review.
Can we apply for less than $10,000? We have multiple projects that fit perfectly but work with very limited means for matching funds.
This first year we have created those parameters to be $10,000 to $50,000, but I would very much welcome that conversation and see if that is something that we can restructure in future years.
Next question is, how much money is available for this round? This year we have $350,000, and I am given the response to this grant program. I'm confident that we won't have a problem with that. So we expect to expend those resources. We don't know how much we will have for FY18, but we will certainly notify folks as soon as we know that. But for this year, it's $350,000. And remember that it's capped at $50,000. It's between $10,000 and $50,000 per grant. Okay. Next question. Can one entity put in more than one application? For example, can different departments within a municipality apply for different projects? So I think the answer to that is no, but if the municipality wanted to work with other organizations, chambers of commerces or other 501c3s to do a different project, that's perfectly fine. For example, if let's say Tucumcari wanted to come in with 2 different projects, that's fine. Each project would have to come from a different entity. They would have to be different projects, and they would have to come from different entities. Can you repeat the website for the worksheet? That is nmtourism.org. That's our industry site. nmtourism.org. Is that right? I'm sorry. nmtourism.org is where we're going to upload the webinar and where we're going to upload the questions. But for the worksheet, it is nmtourism.culturegrants.org. nmtourism.culturegrants.org. Okay, will there be event sponsorships available as well as this grant?
Event sponsorships for the purpose of providing operational assistance, such as porta potties and things like that, no. But if you are looking to increase the visitor experience and you want to do something remarkable with tangible tourism and you have this great idea to be implemented into your event, then absolutely we can have that conversation.
Okay, next question. When can projects start? Must organizations wait for approval? This is standard, however, it could be a challenge with a June 1 deadline. So again, we have a compressed time frame, and we're really looking for projects that are, more or less shovel ready. We have the think sheet as our pre-filter process, so I encourage you to go on and fill that out and work with Susie on determining whether or not that project is a good fit. But so long as your project is able to conclude by June 1. If you've already started your project, again, work through the think sheet process and we'll see if it's a fit. All right, next question. What is the next funding cycle? Again, we'll know more at the end of this legislative session, and we hope to have a new grant cycle available beginning July 1st. Another question, what is the total amount of funds available from NM Tourism? Again, it's $350,000. Let's see, I have a million questions here. Okay, we'll take one more question, and then we'll make sure that everybody else gets these questions answered in a written format. What about events?
So again, going back, if you have an annual event within your community, this grant will not be eligible to fund things such as marketing, operational costs, things of that nature. What we really focus on is tourism development, that tourism product that is going to be sustainable, it's going to be in line with what we're looking for, and we will not discriminate against funding elements of a certain event that do promote these things and are in line with this particular grant. If you are in a community where clay is a really big focus and you have an event around clay, we will not give you funds to, for the nuts and bolts of that event. But what we could talk about is funding an event within that event, a program within that event where there's some kind of clay trail or there's some kind of tangible tourism experience where you need the funds to bring in this wonderful clay artisan to really create these experiences for the tourist. And the issue there is that I have answers and we have parameters for all of your questions, but what I don't want to do is discourage anyone from at least coming to us and talking about what is possible. And I have this idea. could this be funded? The more communication that you have and the more that you are able and willing to have those conversations with our department, the better crafted this program will be for you within the coming years. That being said, I also don't want to, for lack of a better phrase, waste anybody's time. This is not a marketing grant. I will not fund operational costs within certain parameters. So if that's what you're looking for, we do offer programs that could help with that as well. So I don't want to discourage anyone, but at the same time, we want to make sure that everyone is on the same page, and I don't want to waste any of your valuable time, because I know this industry is quite busy.
So we want to thank everyone for their time. I know it was challenging for some of you to get in on a snowy morning, but obviously there's tremendous interest in this grant, and that's exciting for us. Again, please work with Susie and the ThinkSheet process to ensure that your grant is competitive and that it's a fit. And you are always welcome to call me on my cell phone, 505-690-8160. Thank you very much for your time. And again, we will upload this webinar to nmtourism.org. Thank you.